idcwoodcraft.com. Hello, my CNC brother or sister. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, shooting this quick little video for you because I just want to do the happy dance because the Phantom is running. I literally have it running and cutting, just sample cuts, but I just wanted to show you that this thing like kicks some serious ass. So I'm just doing some practice cuts with MDF here, and I was getting the vacuum table set up, which took a little bit to understand how to get that working. And the vacuum table is fascinating as hell. You just turn the vacuum on, make sure your zone is turned on, the proper one. You put some MDF down, it sucks it right down, and then put another piece of MDF on top, and it sucks it right down too. So I figure if I'm gonna fire this thing up, I'm gonna try out a brand new bit. This is something you haven't seen before because it doesn't exist. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You've seen compression bits or have heard about them. You have the 1/4 inch compression bit, which is a 1/4 inch up-down bit, and you know, it's 1/4 inch diameter. And then you have the 1/8 inch compression bit, which is 1/8 inch diameter. And the 1/4 inch can take out a lot of material, maybe sometimes a lot more than what we want. 1/8 inch can be a little bit less, and of course it's more brittle because it's a smaller bit and you can't be as assertive with it. So I decided I was going to do something a little bit different and try this out. So I have dealt with my tooling manufacturer and we designed up a brand new bit, and this is it right here. It is a compression bit. Let's get a closer look at it. It is a 3/16 compression bit. In other words, it falls between a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch. And the reason I had this bit designed is because a 1/4 inch can be too much sometimes, and an 1/8 inch cannot be enough sometimes. We have to be more gentle with the 1/8 inch. So it's kind of a toss-up. If you're using an 1/8 inch compression bit, then you have to be a little more gentle with it. And I wanted a bit that you could be as aggressive with a 1/4 inch compression bit and still conserve the wood that you're cutting. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut this, cut a little simple little project, cutting MDF. And I'm setting up this compression bit so it's going to cut at a depth of 0.375, and it's going to make 2 passes, cutting out a couple spots in this thing. I'm going to do this like weird little design. I'm setting this up at 80 inches per minute, and it's at a 3/8 of an inch depth of cut, or 0.375. So we're going to fire this puppy up, and you're going to get to hear it. It's kind of loud, and watch how fast I can cut with this bit and see the Phantom run. Now, I do want to say that the Phantom itself is a little bit different when it comes to running a CNC machine, because the controller is a little bit different. It's not like you have the computer there. You design it up your project, you load it on your USB, and you have a very different style controller. So the Phantom is more geared towards what I would call semi-production, semi-custom type of work, or production work. So let's fire this thing up with the 3/16 compression bit, see how this puppy performs on this test cut. So the first thing I have to do is turn on the vacuum system, and then we're going to launch the machine. So it's going to make a little bit of noise, and so I'm going to do a voiceover, but I do want you to hear what this sounds like first, because it does have some noise. So here goes. That was the dust collector, which is extremely loud, which I'm not going to turn on right now because I'm going to park that outside, but I'm going to turn on the vacuum system. There we go. So what you're hearing right now is the table vacuum right there, and then we have the zone switches here on the valve. And so right now I only have zone number 1 turned on, which is right here, and there's little diagrams here that tells you which zone is which. So number 2 is that zone, then we have number 3 is back there, and number 4 is here. And these zones, it's kind of interesting with this vacuum table. I have no seals that are in these little grooves, but I am on that 1 zone here. and I can't move this board that's sitting on there. And I can't move the board I'm going to cut, which is interesting. So, very, very cool. I've got a lot to learn. We are going to start with the 3/16 compression bit, and so we're going to fire this puppy up. I've already got the program loaded up, and so literally all I have to do is press the run button. So I press that, and then I press the go button, or the OK button. And now the spindle is going to come up to speed, and it's going to move into position over here. So when you're doing this, you probably want to have some. So one thing, I did a test cut before, and my down feed is at 35 inches, and still too slow. So I am going to put on some hearing protection while I'm doing this. So now you can see it is throwing out some dust here. I love seeing speed like that. I'm actually going to turn this up even more. We saw a little bit of smoke come out, and that's when it plunged down in there. You'll see it again right over here. Don't make it go faster. And so now we have lots of sawdust. But the nice thing is it didn't blow it. I mean, it does blow it everywhere, but it not nearly as bad as when you're using the Makita router. So we're going to move that back nice and fast. And now you saw that it cut this board out. First of all, I want to show you, I do have some burn marks as it went in. That means that my down feed is still too slow. So I'm going to bring that up to the feed rate of the tool itself. So in other words, my plunge rate is going to be 80 inches per minute. But you saw it cut that, I turned the vacuum off, and now I can just move the boards around. It's no big deal. So we're going to pop that out, and there we are. So why didn't those move? Number one is because the vacuum is holding it down, and number two, all the sawdust was holding it in place. And so here is, let me get to the other side so I can see what I'm showing you. Here is the piece we just cut. You can see there's a little bit of burn mark right in there, so the plunge rate needs to come up. But that was very, very quick to cut this really goofy looking whatever. So just based on the two things that I wanted to make sure that I could accomplish here was, number one, well, actually three things. The vacuum system was going to work. Number two was how fast I can cut with this machine, and that was just a quick trial with MDF. And of course, number three was the 3/16 down cutting end mill that I've come out with. And so far with MDF, it looks like it's a very promising bit to come out with. So that's where we're at, and I'm kind of glad that I had you with me to just make sure I got this next level test cut going, and I got this bit starting to prove out, and I'll be really excited to get this out on the market. I think this is going to work out. idcwoodcraft.com